We're talking about Virat Kohli, and Harbhajan has many anecdotes to share with us about Virat, but we'll talk about his anecdotes too. But before I get into the book, I'm a news guy, and so I will do a newsman's job. The biggest headline from Harbhajan Singh has come that this is the weakest Australian side to visit India. Bhajuba, would you like to elaborate on that? Why did you say it?
I mean, why did I say? Is there any, confusion? Why I said, because I felt this is the weakest side, and the reason is there's no Steve Ogg, there's no Ricky Ponting, no Gilchrist, no Shane Warne, no McGrath, uh, no Justin Langer, no Mark Waugh. So would you still say कि this is the best side?
No, I wouldn't. Actually, recently in conversation with Saurav Ganguly, we were talking about India, Australia, and he said that, Bhajju used to tell me कि एक विकेट ले ली, 2 विकेट ले ली, 3 ले ली, 7वें नंबर पर गिलक्रिस्ट आ रहा है, मैं कितनी विकेट लूँ? That was the team that you played against.
I mean, that was the champion team. There's no doubt about it. That Australian team, showed a lot of the other countries how to win test matches, and they dominated all over the world, by winning everywhere. And the competition was at the best, I would say. And that Australian team had 11 champions player in their team. That's the reason they won 3 World Cup. And of course, I don't know how many test matches in a row. You guys will know much more than that. And we were, the team who actually stopped them from winning when they came over to India. So I think that's the best series I've ever played, against the top Australian side. And they were definitely the best side, I have played against. And they were all the champion players.
Yeah, and like he said, it was the Indian team that rested that slide when Australia were winning against every team, and this man was majorly responsible. Like I said,
and actually that series gave us a lot of confidence to move forward, and from there, that series onwards, you can see the face of Indian cricket was obviously changed, and belief in the team itself changed, that we wanted to do it on the regular basis like what Australia did, and we wanted to win abroad now. After winning that series, we wanted to be the team who did well in abroad, and we wanted to recognize as well as Australia did in that time. So that was the aim of that team, that okay, let's tour to Australia or England or New Zealand or South Africa, let's start winning there, and if we'll start winning there, we'll be regarded as one of the best team who played for for India at that point of time.
Vijay sir, I don't want to embarrass Harbhajan and उनको खुद
Please
बोलूं
don't.
कि अपनी वो बताएं, इसलिए आप बताएं, just tell viewers here that you've seen him from a very young age. What brought out the best in him when he was facing the toughest opponent? Was he always like that? Was he a fighter from his younger days?
I think he was a fighter. But the first time I heard about him was from Anil Kumble. Because Kumble had asked Maninder Singh to go and watch a Punjab bowler because he was playing an under-15 match at the Palam ground. And Maninder called me and we went. And he was enthusiastic, always wanting to take wickets, I remember. And I was fortunate to cover that series which he's talking about. At the beginning of the series, Harbhajan wasn't sure of his place because there were quite a lot of competition. But Saurav insisted, and in fact, the selection meeting was extended. It went on and on because Saurav Ganguly wanted Harbhajan to be in the side. And at the end of it, you must have seen, everyone knew where Harbhajan was. 32 wickets in a series, and that hat-trick at Calcutta, that was an amazing match. Everyone remembers Lakshman, yes, Dravid. But what about his... if he had not taken wickets, you wouldn't have won the game. So he's always been like this, on the field, very competitive. Off the field, we can see what he is, and a great mimic.
Yeah, we'll get him to do that later in the...
Maybe, before he leaves, he can mimic both of us from here.
I don't think so.
No, I know he can mimic a lot of players. We'll get him to do that. But Bhajuba, could you hazard a guess? We were talking about Australia. Everyone loves to hear predictions. If I was asked, if I could get you to predict the India versus Australia series, what would your prediction be?
Well, I said if Australia plays well, India will win 3-0.
Okay.
If Australia will play well, and if Australia don't play well, then 4-0 is the result. But definitely Australia going down in a big way, because this is just the namesake, this is an Australian team to me. You know this, and if you see the quality, they don't have any top batting. You know, if we see their batting lineup, apart from Steve Smith and Warner, I don't see anyone playing, you know, for a longer period of time in this particular team. So I think 3-0 or 4-0 would be a good one. But if India plays badly, they will definitely still win the series 3-0, and Australia need to play well to stop Indians to win 4-0.
Okay, Vijay sir, do we have a tomorrow's headline? If Australia play well, they will lose 3-0.
I think that is the headline. Already he made headlines by saying he's the weakest. But I would like to ask Harbhajan one thing. You know, how was it bowling to that team, especially Matthew Hayden, who had a big stride, and spinners really dreaded bowling to Hayden, or maybe they had Damon Martin on the earlier series when we went to Australia. I mean, what quality batsmen they? How would you differentiate between that batting lineup and this?
Uh, Honestly speaking, I'm not here to just talk about myself, but uh, Hayden was a class player. There's no doubt about it. Hayden was a player who had a lot of, you know, courage to bat, you know, and he used to, you know, dominate spinners, and he never used to, you know, bog down and defend the ball. Even his defense was like a solid defense, and he was one batsman who used to, you know, use his feet really well against spinners. A top batsman with all the qualities who can hit sixes at will. You know, he was the one who started hitting sixes in the Test cricket in that era, where, you know, people were still playing for single, double, and four was scored on a bad delivery. But he wanted to dominate the bowler, and it was tough to bowl to him, to be honest. You know, first series we couldn't bowl to him, though I got him out. But every time I got him out, he was batting on 100 or 90 or 200. He was a class player. He was tough to bowl to. But second time when they toured here, we figured out, you know, how to bowl to him, and we set the right sort of field. We obviously got him out early. He didn't score as many runs as in the previous series in 2001, but still he was a class player and always will be. And he was, I regard him as a top player of spin bowling.
Vijay sir, over the years covering India, Australia, and whatever little years I've also covered, we got so accustomed to the Australian former players or current players sledging even before a series started. You know, I can never forget a McGrath saying, oh, 4-0, India's going to lose. How times have changed. We have Harbhajan here who says, if they play well, 3, which you know, for many, my generation, it's a great change to have. All this while we just heard from them. Now we have this newer generation. Have you noticed this change too? And how does it augur for Indian cricket as such?
I think they were sledging during his time also. It's not that they would take it back.
Well,
They used to give it.
that's the only thing they did in that series. Cricket खेले होते तो शायद जीत जाते.
They used to give it back, and if you notice the earlier generation when I started covering, they looked at cricket very differently, and sledging was not part of Indian cricket at all. Even in domestic cricket, there were not many incidents of sledging. And if you look at someone like Gavaskar, uh, bowlers would not like to sledge to him, because when you started sledging, he would concentrate more, and it would become difficult to, you know, get them out. So those batsmen, their reaction to sledging was to bowl better, bat better, or field better, whatever, and try and win the games. But his generation, his team, when the Saurav Ganguly's team, it was a very different mindset they had, and they would compete very strongly. And sledging, yes, I mean, they had some champion sledgers in their team also who would give it back. Huh? Champion sledgers, yes. So that was, I think that was one era where Indians learned to play aggressive, and now you see it's a very aggressive team Australians will encounter when they play day after.
Now, since we're here to talk about your book, Driven, on Virat Kohli, Bhajji, I'll start with you. You know, your earliest memory of Virat Kohli, the first time you saw him may have been, I think, when he didn't play for India. Your first memory, and what did you make of him when you first saw him?
I remember Lalchand Rajput spoke about him for the first auction, IPL auction. You know, Virat Kohli is a very good young player. We should look to have him in Mumbai Indians setup. but we couldn't get him because I don't know what happened. So RCB got Virat Kohli, and that was the first time, first game Mumbai Indian and RCB were playing, and I was captaining that game because Bhajji was not playing that game. First two games he didn't play, and after that I didn't play the first season. You know, you all know the reasons. So
Some may not remember. Should I remind them?
so, no, it's okay. Everyone knows. So we make mistake. It's okay. We move forward. We make mistakes. It's everything is learning. So basically, that's the first time I saw Virat batting. You know, he only played couple of balls and he got out to Sanat Jayasuriya on mid off. But from there onwards, you know, we were meeting, and you know, he was always a player, you know, who could play for India at any time. And I remember him getting into the Indian team when we were all in Sri Lanka, and Viru got injured, and Mendes was troubling everyone, and this guy came, and he scored 50 odd against Ajanta Mendes and company, you know, and
Murli was also there.
yeah, Murli was also there, and he batted beautifully. And after he finished with his batting and stuff, he came up to me and he was like, "Bhajji, अच्छा खेले ना?" मैं कहा बहुत ज़बरदस्त खेले। मतलब वो ऐसा challenges जहाँ होते हैं ना, वहाँ विराट कोहली खड़ा है। वो आज से नहीं है, वो अंडर 19 से, वो उसके खून में है। तो he is a champion player not because कि he is a class batsman, because उसके खून में वो दो चीज़ दौड़ती है कि जहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा मुश्किल आएगी विराट कोहली वहाँ जाके खड़ा हो जाएगा कि मैं करता हूँ।
आपके साथ there's a personal bond I've seen on social media, be it at your wedding and everywhere else. There's a personal bonding. How did that develop, and what is that personal bonding that you share with Virat? Because of course सब आपके teammates होते हैं, but कुछ होते हैं जिनके साथ बहुत अच्छे bonding होती है. For you, like Sachin Tendulkar is one, Yuvraj Singh, and I've seen with Virat also.
See, Virat is like a younger brother. He is one of those guys who likes to talk, who likes to do things with people who like to spend time with. और हम लोग वहाँ सीनियर थे और पंजाबी बॉन्ड थी कि पंजाबी टीम में हम हैं, हमारे से आके बात करता है, और ऑब्वियसली हम लोग वहाँ टीम में सीनियर थे, बट एट द सेम टाइम वी वर लाइक कि यार बड़ा भाई है कि पंजाबी है और ये शुगल वाले बंदे हैं तो मज़ा भी लगाते हैं ये, तो हमारे पास आता था, हमारे साथ उठता बैठता था, एंड वी ऑलवेज ट्रीट हिम लाइक यंगर ब्रदर। नो मैटर आज वो हिंदुस्तान का कप्तान बन जाए, ये वर्ल्ड का कप्तान बन जाए, बट हमारे लिए तो मेरा छोटा भाई रहेगा। एंड आई विश हिम नथिंग बट द बेस्ट, यू नो, ही इज़ द बेस्ट, देयर इज़ नो डाउट अबाउट इट, एंड आई विश हिम ऑल द लक गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। ही शुड कॉन्कर not just in India but in the world as well. You know, winning abroad will be the best thing, and that will take him to a different level.
And you think he can do that? He has it in him?
He has it in
Winning
him.
abroad, specific.
Yes, and he's that kind of a guy, whenever challenges come, he wants to be there. And knowing him deep within his mind and heart, he also wants to do it abroad. He wants to win 4-0 or 3-0 or 2-0 in Sri Lanka, in New Zealand, in South Africa, in Australia. So that's what will make him different from all other captains.
Okay, Vijay sir, we'll talk about a young Virat Kohli. In your book, I've read the book, but if you'd like to share some initial anecdotes about Virat Kohli, and he talks about how gritty he was. Some stories about him, and it wasn't success right from the start. So he faced a lot of trouble during his growing up years. Could you share a few stories from there?
Yeah, like always, I mean, Bhajji also knows in Delhi it's very difficult to get recognition. It's the resistance to a newcomer is big, not from the players. There's so much of politics there, and Virat, of course, his coach was always confident that he's India material. Rajkumar Sharma, he had always backed him, and good he only went to one academy. Good he went to only one coach. He stuck to him. Atul Vasan was the one who was also among the early ones who thought that this boy can play for India. And the first selection I remember, it's a small anecdote in the book where he was to be picked for under 15, and there was a whole lot of talk in Delhi cricket circles that there is a boy who's coming up who will definitely play for India. But knowing Delhi politics, that selection meeting, it went on beyond 10, almost 11 it finished, and his name was not there. So one of his coaches also happened to be a selector. he was pressing for him. When he reached home, sometime around 2 in the morning, there was a phone call, and this coach was very disturbed because if a phone rings at that time in the house, you are concerned. And Virat was at the other end. He wanted to know कि, selection का क्या हुआ. Then he was told that you have not been picked, and he was obviously very disappointed. And then that is when he learned the best way to come into the team was to make runs. So he made runs by hundreds. I mean, every inning almost he used to get big scores. And next year the selectors had no choice. They had to pick him. He came into the under 15 team. Again made hundreds at that level. He made 2 double hundreds in the under 17 national championships. And by then I think all these senior players were also aware that there is a player who will be joining them very soon. And then he was picked for the under 19 team, led them to the World Cup title, and yeah, in Kuala Lumpur. So that is where his journey began. But he was a very intense cricketer, always disciplined. He never crossed the line, but very intense. He wanted to play for India, and I think that's what has brought him where he is today.
I just want to know, because you follow Delhi cricket, where are those selectors today? The ones that didn't pick him?
They must be in hiding because they were obviously embarrassed next year also. They had to pick him when he made those runs. And similarly, I think it's not very different in Punjab. There also you have to perform exceedingly well to get into the team.
You are, the closest that I know someone is to Sachin Tendulkar. You're very close to Virat Kohli. Like I said, we in the media were sometimes blamed for it, but we love comparing Sachin with Virat. What do you make of this comparison?
See, if you see the records, Virat Kohli is doing really well. And obviously, I want him to, break all the records in the world. But Sachin will remain Sachin. For me, Sachin will remain number one. Virat Kohli will always be a champion player. मैं बस एक छोटी सी बात में सम अप कर सकता हूँ कि पाजी की जगह कोई नहीं ले सकता. वो चैम्पियन प्लेयर, मतलब उसके कारण बहुत लोगों ने क्रिकेट खेलना शुरू किया है, तो उनमें से एक मैं भी हूँ. और विराट भी यही कहेगा कि पाजी बाजी हैं, चाहे बेटा कितना ही बड़ा हो जाए, कभी बाप नहीं बन सकता है. तो आई विश विराट कोहली टू ब्रेक ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स इन द वर्ल्ड, but Sachin will remain Sachin, number one.